Hi, I'm Colleen Ferrary. I am the founder and CEO of Small Business USA, and I am so happy to have Robert DePalo with us here today. He brought up something in a conversation last week, and I just really want to share that with everyone. Robert DePalo is with National Financial. Thank you so much for getting on here with me and kind of sharing this with our members and viewers. But he is an expert in exit strategies, and there are, he calls them the 5 silent assassins. But Robert, I really want you to just share, what are these 5 things that business owners need to worry about when thinking about exiting their business?
So when exiting their business, it usually comes too late. Most people love to work to the 11th hour and they finally get to that point where they go, enough's enough. I'm hanging up. I want to get out of here. I want to be out of here yesterday. The first assassin that really kills people is having a plan. If you don't roadmap your exit out a little bit in advance, it's going to be haphazard and a game of Russian roulette.
How long should they exit that? Like, because we usually get members that join when they're 5 years out of,
yes.
Like, okay,
so
5 years I want to get out.
That's the sweet spot. 3 to 5 years out, you have a nice, simple, easy breezy plan that we can line out and make adjustments as needed. If you start going under 12 months, under 6 months, you're flying by the seat of your pants, and there's a lot of moving parts that you really don't have time to adjust with properly if there's not a plan in place already. So planning out and starting to think with the end in mind 3 to 5 years earlier is ideal. And many business owners don't take the time to think about that because they always think, I got another 3 years, I got another 5 years. And then all of a sudden they have that point where it's like, oh, it's now.
True. I had a business owner the other day say, 5 years is up already, Colleen? I'm not ready to leave. I'm serious.
And so the way I usually say that is have a plan, and a plan isn't set in stone. Pencils have erasers for a reason. If we have to move the deadline out further, it's easier to adjust than not have anything on paper to have a guideline of where we're going, to have pieces moving. So that plan is so crucial and the first cornerstone to everything. Okay. Beyond that, I have people who I've worked with who have a plan. They think they have their roadmap laid out. All of a sudden, they did it 2-3 years ago. They did it a while ago. And all of a sudden, tax laws change. Something else changes. And they never adjust it because they never look back at it. They did what a lot of people do.
Sorry.
They do what a lot of people do. They do what a lot of people do, and they go, oh, I did it. It's taken care of. It's off my checklist. It's out of mind. Right. Well, all of a sudden, we went from Obama to Trump. We went from here to here. As these tax laws change, you need to go back and go, okay, how does this affect where I'm going? Am I the right structure? Am I the right place? Am I having things set up the right way to maximize the money for me? Right. Because the state tax laws change, corporate tax laws change, income tax laws change. As those all change, are you adjusting to make sure you're doing things that are going to be most favorable for you when that time comes? So adjusting for tax laws is a biggie because, oh, my buddy left his business 6 years ago and he did it this way and made so much money. Well, guess what? The tax laws of 6 years ago might not be the tax laws today. Where he was in New Jersey might not be the same as where you are today. So adjusting for tax laws and really having a team that understands how to maximize that can help you avoid leaving money on the table and having that plan.
Nice.
The third one sounds a little silly, but it's what's next. Have you mapped out your post-work life? You sold your business. You left this entity. It's great. I was talking to somebody the other day and they're like, oh, they're selling their marina for $18 million. Oh, that's awesome. $18 million is a lot of money. Well, their basis was very small and they had a partner. So now at the end of the day, $18 million might turn out to be $5 million each. That's a nice number, but this person was in their early 50s. Is $5 million enough to live the rest of your life the way you want? Maybe.
That's
maybe not.
Crazy, Robert. I don't think a lot of people take that into consideration. You start at 18, you end at 5.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden you're like, oh, we sold our business for $18 million. That's great. Well, you had a partner. That cut it in half. Mm-hmm. You had a very low basis. There was taxation. There's different things that are coming up, and we're trying to find ways to mitigate that. But we didn't navigate what that is. Or the other situation is you go to exit your business. You waited too long. You finally get the number of what it's worth. You think you have a pot of gold worth $5 million, $6 million. You find out you're walking away with 2. that changes things. Do you know what it's worth? And do you know where that worth comes into where your post-retirement life is? For somebody, $2-3 million might be perfect to live out their years and be happy. Somebody else, they may have big problems 3-4 years from now because they can't stretch the dollar far enough because they didn't map out where that's going.
Smart.
Which leads to my fourth one, which is knowing the value of your business. To know where you're going, know what it's worth today, not just what's your emotional value, your intrinsic value to you, but what's the real market value of your business today? Where does it need to be to get back to that map? So when you're knowing the value, do everything with the value of your business in mind. Because just because you think your business is worth something, or because someone said, oh, the industry multiple is 3 times, that might be the industry multiple, but there are reasons why that might not apply to your business, or somebody might not be willing to pay that for your business because you don't have things as ideally set up. Maybe you don't have your employee contracts. Maybe you don't have things that are transferable. Maybe you're not the industry norm. Know what your value is the other one that's a silent killer to how people leave their business.
Robert, I know you're not an M&A, but can you help them value their business?
Yes.
Is that
so I can do an informal, I have software that does informal valuations based on their SIC codes, based on different things like that. It gives you a ballpark. Hey, based on a business of your size and your industry code, with your revenues and your expenses, this is where the market's sitting. It's not an exact valuation. It's not a certified valuation. It's not something that's going to hold them in court, but it gives you that benchmark at a fraction of the price, because you're paying a nominal fee for this because it's a software-based algorithm versus having someone do a $15,000, $20,000 valuation on your business just to give you a number.
So is it okay for us to send members there to just say, hey, go talk to Robert. It's not going to cost you anything. Get your business evaluated, figure out what your valuation is. And, you know,
and the thing is, it opens up the doors to a lot of conversations. It opens up the doors to a lot of things, because knowing the value of your business, it comes up in a lot of places.
Right.
Like you have 2 partners in a business. When was the last time you valued your business for the buy sell or for the buyouts? Because maybe you started your business, you put $500,000 of life insurance on each of you. Fast forward, your business is now 10 years old and it's worth 10 times that. Maybe you need $5 million of coverage on each because your partnership agreement, your buy-sell agreement says, hey, your buyout's this, but you don't have the coverage to do it. And God forbid one of you pass away, are you protected? Right. Or conversely, the policy expired. You thought you had coverage, you thought you had everything lined up, and you're like, oh, we did 10-year term because it was the cheapest. Well, you're in your 12th year of business and your agreement says you get bought out on death in 60 days. Neither one of you have life insurance coverage, so I don't know where you're getting that money.
Great call. And what's the 5th one, Robert? I mean, these are so, what was the last one?
And the last one I have is thinking about your employees. As you're leaving your business, sometimes do you have your employees' agreements right? Do you have the non-competes in? Do you have the pieces together that makes your business transferable? If all your employees are at will and you don't have anything locking them in or something to incentivize them to stay, it's going to deter your buyer or your successor to take over. Because what's stopping your sales force from taking your clients and walking away? What's stopping your key employees from saying, hey, I'm going to open up a competitive business, or we don't want to work for some stranger? How are you going to incentivize them and make it worthwhile for them in a way for when you leave? Because it's not just about you, it's about everything, because you're all the lifeblood of the business, your key executives, your key personnel. If all of a sudden half your executive staff leaves, what happened to your business now? What happened to its value? What happened to its future growth potential?
So true. So true. Robert, you're amazing. Every time I talk to you, I mean, I just think what you do and how you dig into the nitty gritty, it's kind of cool to speak to somebody who's not only an attorney, but somebody who's in that finance space and working with businesses. Because, you know, we work to build them up and help grow your business and revenue and organize it. But I've learned so much from you in the last couple of times we've talked. I'm so glad you offered to have this conversation with us and kind of sharing your knowledge forward. I so appreciate it. Hey, how can just tell everybody how they can reach you if they need to ask questions, evaluate their business?
So to me, I always say it's always worth a 30-minute phone call to have a conversation to see if there's something you don't know that you don't know to help guide your business. So the easiest way to reach me is either call my office line, which is 516-240-1886, and my assistant can get you on my calendar, or email me directly at Robert, ROBERT _DePalo, DEPALO at natfin, NATFIN.net.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you doing this for me today and
No
kind of
problem.
making us a little smarter. All right.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks.